exam is concerned, your Purva Swadhyaya already you have worked. So one more day I will give you to complete rest of the questions and then go through it. Anyway, there will be additional questions. Your Purva Swadhyaya, which will be given, additional questions will also come in the overall understanding of the subjects of Ishopanishad. So apart from the Purva Swadhyaya questions, which will be almost 70% will be covered, and 30% questions will be additional questions from the overall understanding of Ishopanishad. It will not be specific, but it will be overall understanding only. If you have really understood the essence of Ishopanishad. So if you are, so that is about the closed book exam. I think Sloka, all of you have covered, and if you have not covered, you have to cover it within this weekend because we need to move on to the closed book and open book exam so that we can start Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a heavy subject. Before going to Bhagavad Gita, you have to have completed Ishopanishad. If you have not completed Ishopanishad exam and passed it, then we cannot take you into Bhagavad Gita class. And those who have very, very less attendance, they are just there in the group. They cannot be just there in the WhatsApp group and not be there a part of the classes. So even if you have a thin crowd, that is okay, but we are looking for a sincere crowd. So some people approach me, many of them, they want to join. But my question is, Ishopanishad is almost over. How are they going to pick it up? So if anybody wants to join, they can start only from Bhagavad Gita. They can start from Bhagavad Gita, and then any of your friends, anybody would like to join, they can. Bhagavad Gita will be totally different method compared to what we did now. It will be little faster and contented. And if anybody would like to join, they can start only from Bhagavad Gita. And by the time we finish Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion, and another time Ishopanishad can be covered for those people, and they can get into this. So if we give you teachers training course, then you can take Ishopanishad for those people. So this is the plan. In case if any of your friends would like to join Bhagavad Gita, they can join, no problem. But surely at the end of the Bhakti Shastri course, we will be giving you Bhakti Shastri teachers training course also along with this. That's also sponsored. Some devotees are helping us in our department. Everything we are paying money between, but we are doing 100% Shastric education free only. Let it be any course, let it be teachers training, let it be Bhakti Shastri, every course we are doing free only. So after finishing this, we will be giving you teachers training course. After the Bhakti Shastri teachers training course, then you will be awarded the, before that itself, you will be awarded the Bhakti Shastri certificate, and then you will be given the teachers training, and then you can take the classes. So you can, each of you can share, and I can give you, by that time, I think PPT and everything will be ready, and all the questions and everything. So with the defined course material, you can take. Okay. So this is about how we are going to go about in this course after this Ishopanishad is over. So 17th verse little is remaining, and then we have 18th verse. So this surely will be covered by before next week beginning, and before next week ending, you should have completed all the process of Ishopanishad, so that we will be starting Bhagavad Gita in the Gita month. So the Gita marathon month, December, everybody thinks about Bhagavad Gita because that is the time the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Gita Jayanti falls in December. So it is Prabhupada asked to call it Gita month, or this Gita marathon month, like that. So it's very special. So it's very nice that we are starting the Bhagavad Gita in this month. Okay, thank you very much. Now we can, before we get into, okay, before we go into the subject, if there is time permits, we'll go into the subject today, or we'll do it in Monday. We'll see. At least purport we will read. Now we have the drama, which already skit was prepared by some teams, and I had held them. So today is Saturday, so we can have a nice entertainment session with a beautiful pastime of Lord Narasimha. So I invite the team to come and perform this pastime, so that we'll have a beautiful beginning with Narasimha Bhagavan ki jai. So praying the lotus feet of Narasimhadev to remove all the hurdles and go in the successful journey of completing those course successfully. Okay. The team start with your Narasimhadev drama presentation, skit presentation. Hari Bol, all the best. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll start. Sakshi, can you share the screen? So, we will be starting this skit with the blessings of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Sakshi, Sakshi is acting as Hiranyakashipu, Mohini as Brahma, and me as Prahlad Maharaj and Narasimhadev, and we'll be narrating also. Hiranyakashipu was a king who was very much advanced materially and wanted to conquer cruel death by his material acquisitions. He wanted not to be conquered by anyone, not to be attacked by old age and disease, and not to be harassed by any opponent, and thus end up becoming the absolute ruler of the entire universe. In the hope to get the boon of immortality, he performed severe austerities to please the demigods. The extreme heat produced as a result of his severe penances disturbed the entire universe and its inhabitants. All the demigods sought help from Brahma and revealed the ambitions of Hiranyakashipu to become immortal. Brahma came to see Hiranyakashipu along with Bhrigu and Daksha. Hiranyakashipu paid obeisances to Brahma.
O son of Kashyapa Muni, please get up. You are now perfect in your performance of austerities. Therefore, I may give you a benediction. You may ask whatever you desire, and I shall fulfill.
O best of the givers of benedictions, I desire to become immortal.
I cannot grant the gift of immortality because I myself am not Amar. I live a long life, but I am not immortal.
O my Lord, please let me not meet death from any living entities created by you. Grant me that I may not die within or outside of any residence during daytime or night, nor on the ground or in the sky. May I not die by any weapon, animal or human, demon or demigod, living or non-living. Grant me all the mystic powers attained by long austerities that cannot be lost at any time.
O Hiranyakashipu, these benedictions are difficult to obtain. Nonetheless, I shall grant you all. Tathastu.
Mad with power, Hiranyakashipu conquered everyone in 10 directions and 3 worlds and brought all living entities, demigods, and asuras under his control. Being envious of the Supreme Lord, he would torment his own son Prahlad, who was an exalted Vaishnava. Prahlad, though born among the Asuras, was always engaged in worshipping Lord Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu appointed Sanda and Amarka to educate Prahlad in politics, economics, and other material activities. However, he ignored their teachings and continued to practice devotional service and preach the same to his friends as well. All these students were becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness because of the association of Prahlad Maharaj. This infuriated Hiranyakashipu and he decided to kill Prahlad.
My son Prahlad, you rascal! You know when I'm angry, all the planets tremble. By whose power have you become so impudent that you appear fearless?
My dear king, the original source of all strength is one, whether yours or mine, superior or inferior. Everyone, including Lord Brahma, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear father, please give up your demoniac mentality. Except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind, there is no enemy of this world.
You rascal! You try to minimize my value as if you were better than me at controlling senses. Oh, most unfortunate Prahlad, you always describe a supreme being other than me, who is the controller of everyone, who is all pervading. Where is he? Is he present in this pillar before me? You speak so much nonsense. Now let me see your most worshipable God come to protect you. I want to see it.
Obsessed with anger, Hiranyakashipu chastised his devotee son Prahlad, took up his sword, and with great anger struck his fist against the pillar. From within the pillar came a fearful sound, falling pitch the supreme personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful form never seen before, a form that was neither a man nor a lion. Seeing the extremely fearsome form of Narasimhadev, Hiranyakashipu, thinking nobody can kill me, attacked the Lord.
Hiranyakashipu, prepare to meet your death. In this moment of twilight, in the doorway of this hall, right here on my thighs, I shall tear you apart just by my nails, keeping intact all the benedictions awarded to you by Brahma.
No, I cannot be killed.
Hiranyakashipu finally met his death. All his wounds and various intelligent plans to avoid death lay futile in the face of the supreme god. When Hiranyakashipu, the greatest materialist, couldn't defy death through all the arrangements, how can we teeny Hiranyakashipus of today hope to accomplish anything to surpass death? Thus, one must take the wise step to surrender to the Supreme God, sing His glories, and revive our lost connection. And in this way, go back home, back to Godhead, where there is no fear of death, and we eternally stay in the blissful association of Lord Krishna.
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादनाददायिने हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः शिलाटङ्कानखालाय इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा बहे नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा नरसिंहमदिशरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे नखा अद्भुतशृङ्गा दलिता हिरण्यकशपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवदिता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
Hare Krishna, thank you, everyone.
Haribo! Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
हरी हरी बोल।
Very nice. All of you give your big hand and say Hari Bol. Unmute.
Hari Bol.
Really
Hari
worked
bol,
well.
Hari bol.
That was so beautiful. Thank you very much for giving this feast.
You, ma'am.
Thank you for the feast. It was very, very nice. Feels so good. And good work, yeah. You've really done a good work. And we have to keep the Saturdays as the skit day. So that every week some either skit or some entertainment program should be there with us, relevant to the topic which we are discussing. Nice, very nice. Okay. Thank you, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So now let's go into the rest of the paragraphs in mantra 17.
Hare Krishna Mataji, should somebody read this?
Oh, I'm really sorry. I was speaking muted. Thank you so much, Navaneet. Thank you so much. Yeah, before we start this, I'll just give a recap, the context in which we are there. The first is the last four slokas talk about the audience of the Lord, especially at the time of death. And the last two slokas, mantras which we are seeing, is fully about death, where one is when we are leaving the life air is leaving the body, exact time of our death. And second is when the body is being burnt in the fire. So at that time, what should be our prayer? This is the real serious thing. Anybody who is born in this earth is certainly, this is called Mrityu Lokam. Mrityu Lokam means where the death is sure. And the body is temporary. For anybody in the material world, the body is temporary, but certain people live for a longer duration, depends on where they live. Even some insects, they live for some hours. Prabhupada is telling Indragopa. Some insects live for even minutes, like Indragopa. But there are some insects which live for 2 hours, 3 hours. And some live for 3 days. Some live for 3 months. And now we live for 100 years of our calculation. And then this is a very short duration. And less than 100 years, people nowadays die at 65, 70, 75, 80. This 80, like this, 70 to 80 or 65 to 80, like this natural I'm talking about, most of them. Very rare people live more than 85, 90, 95. Very rare you can see. But anyway, what is the use of carrying such a body when if it's not Krishna conscious? So, but death is guaranteed. So what should be, and it's serious. It's not a joke like, okay, I'm a devotee, I show off. But that at the time of death, we have to travel alone. We have to just get out of this body. Whatever experiences and whatever situations you're seeing around you, you're going to lose that situation and going to enter into something else, or there is a mean duration. So what should be the prayer? The Isopanisad is stating. See, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam and all comes when we become a devotee. We are starting with an Upanishad. The Upanishad indirectly talks about Krishna, it never talks about directly. And also the prayer is also like that, where it's not but it's addressing a direct personality. So it is very clear Krishna is a personality, where the Vedas also specify Krishna as a person only. It's not that Vedas is specifying impersonal and then Bhagavatam is being personal. No, the best slokas are the 15 and 16, where we saw, please remove the effulgence and show yourself to us. So very clearly Vedic literatures also say this. And interpreted meaning say that the Brahman is the ultimate. That is an interpretation of the Vedas. That is what Lord Chaitanya is telling to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, saying that the Brahman is the supreme, is actually incomplete knowledge. And this Vedas are so clear like sunlight. Only your explanation is like a dark cloud which is hiding the sunlight. Like that, the Sankaracharya's explanations which were given by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, but Chaitanya is refusing to and saying that the Vedas are directly talking about the Supreme Lord as a person only. And we can see very clearly that how the Vedas are talking about the Lord as a person, to remove the effulgence and show yourself. Let me see your beautiful face, my Lord, please remove that effulgence, like that. Such nice verses. And then at the time of death, these prayers are happening. So it's something which is very important for us to know that the death is assured for any of us. We would have seen our relatives die. Yesterday we had an exercise in which we discussed it. Have you seen any of your relative die? Like that. So almost everybody said yes, a relative or friend or somebody, you saw them die. And there was no movement and they're just there. They are going to just burn it, because each of the element is going to merge in the element and that body is not them. And that situation is certainly coming for us also. One time when a devotee narrated this very simple incident with me, that once he was sitting and another man, he was from army, so he was sitting and chanting. We taught them, me and Prabhu taught them chanting. So he was chanting. So another in the ground. So another person, he crossed him and said, "What are you doing?" "No, I'm just chanting." Why do you need to? Why you're chanting?" "No, it's because anyway we are going to die, but at the time of death we should remember. So now itself, if we practice only, we can remember the God." So like this. So anyway we are going to die. Like that, when he said, "No, no, no, no. Why you're telling? So why you're telling you're going to die?" So the next day, when the same person was walking, then and he said, no, the same. Then the devotee explained to him, asked that person, "Where are you going?" So that other person said, "I'm going somewhere." "No, you are also going to die only. We are all going to die." Wherever we are going, and we are going at the end, we are going to die only. So the death is true. Like in the religious society, they say that no, 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 don't talk about it. You won't die, you won't die, no. So they want to put us in illusion by thinking it is inauspicious to discuss something factual. When you know there is a problem only, you can find a solution. When you don't want to discuss about the problem itself, how will you find a solution? So in Krishna conscious movement, we boldly discuss death, because we know we are not the body. Only the body dies. For example, you are buying some tomato. It is going into an expiry date. Then you throw it and buy another tomato. That's it. And expiry date, everything goes. My body also goes into expiry date. I don't die. That is an inauspicious message given by Krishna. So in this way, we are deathless. We are fearless about death, and we are really deathless. That we know. The body keeps changing like a dress. So nobody will become fearful of the changing of dress. So a devotee is not neither fearful of death. It's a casual topic for him. For anybody else, the death is such a fearful topic for them. They consider the foolish religionist consider the death, discussing death to be inauspicious. So devotee doesn't bother, and he knows that it's a game. Very beautifully, this body has to be used in the service of Krishna. And Rake Krishna, Mare Krishna. As far as devotee is concerned, the death is not based on karma, but it is based on the will of Krishna. So, Rake Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rake Ke. This is a very, very famous Prabhupada used to quote this, that if Krishna wants to protect, nobody who can kill. And if Krishna want to kill, who can protect? So in this way. So it's very nice that we are discussing this in these two verses to see the prayers. Devotee practices 9 processes of devotional service, and then of course no need to remind to Krishna. Krishna already knows, and as far as devotee is concerned, Krishna has special favor that he will remind everything at the time of death, even if the devotee forgets. So devotee may not remember, okay, I did this for you, Krishna, I did this for you, Krishna, I did this for you, Krishna. He doesn't maintain a list. Out of love, he does everything for Krishna. And then Krishna himself will remind. So whatever we remember at the time of death, we will achieve that only. Whatever we think. And whatever we practiced our entire life, that only will come like a flashback during the time of death. So it's essential at the time of when we are living, we have to be Krishna conscious. This is very essential. At the time of death, we may remember, we may go into coma. We don't know what is the situation, how it is going to be. But the devotee is fearless of death. So this is what it is. Okay. So we are in this context, last 2 verses, the 17th verse half. Kindly read. Navaneet, would you like to read?
Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura explains these verses in this way. One should regard a devotee of Krishna to be on the right path of the saints, even though such devotee may seem to be Sudachara, a person of loose character. Seem to be Sudurachara, a person of loose character. One should try to understand the real purport of the word Sudurachara. A conditioned soul has to act for double functions, namely for the maintenance of the body and again for self realization. Social status, mental development, cleanliness, austerity, nourishment, and the struggle for existence are all for the maintenance of the body. The self realization part of one's activities is executed in one's occupation as a devotee of the Lord. And one performs actions in that connection also. One must perform these two different functions along parallel lines because a conditioned soul cannot give up the maintenance of his body. The proportion of activities for maintenance of the body decreases, however, in proportion to the increase in devotional service. As long as the proportion of devotional service does not come to the right point, there is a chance for an occasional exhibition of worldliness. But it should be noted that such worldliness cannot continue for long because, by the grace of the Lord, such imperfection will come to an end very shortly. Therefore, the path of devotional service is the only right path. If one is on the right path, even an occasional occurrence of worldliness does not hamper one in the advancement of self realization. The facilities of devotional service are denied the
Just a second. So the earlier verse may shock you, earlier paragraph would have shocked you, that it is meant the person of a loose character. Okay. So we cannot judge a devotee by his devotees. This is very important. As we discussed, following 4 regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds are the minimum. Otherwise, a devotee, how he is a devotee, how he is doing like this, how he is a devotee, how can he tell a lie, how can So that in the promise of initiation, all these things are not asked for, because devotion to Krishna is more important than the moral character of the world. So, for example, if somebody is a Vaishya, he is doing some business, he is buying an item and selling it, and he is buying the item for maybe 100 rupees, and he is selling it for maybe 400 rupees. And when somebody is asking a discount, no, sir, I'm not having any profit in this itself, so please give like this. And the person buys the item for 400 rupees, and when he goes out somewhere and he finds out, oh, this man is buying for only 100 rupees or 200 rupees. He has to anyway have a living. So in his profession, he will do so many activities. Or somebody may be a professional. He may go on full day involved in some IT job or some other job, accounting. If he's working in a bank, then he will be full day counting the cash. He's a cashier in the bank. Full time, 8 hours, he is going to count the cash. So we cannot judge a devotee. Okay, he counted cash 8 hours a day. He chanted for 2 hours and he practiced other services for 2 hours. And then he slept and ate and did other things. You cannot judge it, because it's Krishna who is awarding him the greatest benefit. You are not the one to judge the moral character of the person. And the moral character is not a qualification to enter into the spiritual world. That is to gain popularity among the public here. So the aim is not to gain popularity. Of course, people will appreciate, people will glorify, people will follow. So are you people conscious or are you Krishna conscious? So a Krishna conscious person will be very, very properly situated in Krishna conscious principles. And of course, he has to live a basic living, and he will do the needful. For that, he is not greedy, he is not materially attached, but he's just doing it for the sake of doing something to maintain the body. So he's doing something for maintenance of the body, and that activities won't affect one's progress towards Goloka Vrindavan or going back to Krishna or this reaching the Supreme Lord. So that is very, very important point to understand. So a devotee may look Suduracharo. So your certificate is not required to enter into Goloka. Krishna and Acharya Parampara's certificate is certainly required to enter into the Goloka Vrindavan. So this is very, very important. Somebody who may be following so many rules and regulations and perfectly following may not get the prema, but a person who is not so very properly following, but he may have a sincerity in the heart, and he may quickly get a prema. That is Krishna is awarding the prema, and he is fully independent. Krishna is fully independent to award. So then nobody can actually question, no, he didn't follow so much, he's not following so much, he's not following. So what? He got it. He got it. That is Krishna showered mercy on him. That is why. So there is no condition which we can, material condition which we can put for the spiritual activities. And if he is a devotee, then Krishna just weavers away. There is a weavering away of any small non-character. But if there is a sincerity in the heart for the devotion. It's very, with Krishna, we should not cheat Krishna. Guru and Krishna must be the centerpiece of our attraction and service and consciousness, and clearly open book in front of Guru and Krishna. Need not be with others good books. Need not necessarily in the others good books. So in order to maintain the body, one has to do some work, and one will keep doing it in right way or wrong way. Sometimes Grahastha ashram is done properly, not done properly, and so many imperfection. Material world means imperfection only. You won't be situated properly. Then, yes, you're in material world, what Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, in material world description, perfectly suiting you, and you're in the right track. And if everything seems perfect, then there is some duplicity or some serious problem in that. Because this world is full of frustration, and yes, it will prove to you again and again. And if you see some perfect situation, always expect the imperfect situation is coming behind and waiting in the doorstep. It is always there. So, but it should be noted that such worldliness cannot continue for long, because the grace of Lord, such imperfections will come and to an end every shortly. Sometimes you will see a devotee looking very worldly person. You will see that, okay, he's a material person, like that. People judge like that in no time. And they see externally and think that, oh, you're very materialistic people. They are going there to the park, they are going to the mall to do the shopping. So, a worldly person. So, simply they have their own definition and they try to put the devotee inside it. No. a devotee who is sincere for Guru and Krishna will certainly come back to the track, and he will be in the track because there is a guidance of Guru and Krishna. A great power is behind a person who surrendered to this. That's why today, now we are discussing, Guru Maharaj discussing Vaidhi Bhakti and Raga Anug Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti is based on the rules and regulation, based on the vidhi person is doing devotion. So the person follows. The spontaneous devotion is the second. Raga Anuga Bhakti is spontaneous devotion. With own free will, one is performing Krishna conscious activities. These are the two kinds. But the following the vidhi, one cannot approach the Lord in a heartful manner. But a Raganuga Bhakta, Krishna is getting attracted to such a bhakti because he is exchanging affection with Krishna, and voluntarily all his activities and services are very, very voluntary. So then what happens to look from following rules perspective, the person may look like an ordinary worldly person. But he may Shipram Bhavati Dharmatma. Very quickly he will come back to the track because there is a great empowerment coming from Guru and Krishna, and that is backing that person. So that mercy, we cannot underestimate the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Very powerful compared to the rules and regulations and laws and principles and righteousness and morality and all these things. So they practice that follow four regulative principles just because they love Guru. The Guru has asked to promised. I've promised in front of my Guru, and he's such a wonderful, I love Guru Maharaj, so I do it. I won't break the principles. And then I will somehow chant like this. So affection for Guru, seeing his body, naturally you will see the 16 rounds will chant very nicely, as much as possible. And missing Guru and missing Krishna, following all the laws and rules, it won't attract the attention of Krishna. But even there is a progress. Of course, there is a progress. There is some purification happening, purification and purification. It is like a staircase, and this is like an elevator. So this is what, that doesn't mean that we break the principles or break the law, but law is practiced naturally, affectionately, spontaneously with the desire to practice it. Not by, okay, this is the law, I will follow the law. This is the rule, I'll follow the rule. Not in that way. Like an obedient citizen will casually, if nobody is noticing him, still he will follow the law. He's going in the bike and nobody is in the road and there is a red signal. So he may stop and wait for the signal to turn green and go. Another person may think, oh, nobody is there, nobody is watching me, I'll just do this. And then suddenly police will come from nowhere. And catch and say that you crossed the red light. So it's not that when somebody is watching me, I'm good. When somebody is not watching me, I'm dirty. And the person is fully Krishna conscious, understand Krishna is there in every atom. And the Guru and Krishna are not ordinary persons. They are also called Paramatma. Chaitya Guru is Paramatma inside and Guru is outside. So Guru Maharaj knows what we are doing. Many pastimes are there with Guru Maharaj that what we do here, Guru Maharaj will know. So no, and he will refer to it also. Many people have narrated such pastimes. So they know everything. So we should know inside out, very clear and clean person. Then it's very simple to practice Krishna consciousness. It's so beautiful and blissful. When we take it as a natural process rather than it's a regulative process or the rules and regulations. At a gunpoint, I'm doing practicing. So that attitude is a little difficult. A person who falls from that, it's difficult for him to climb back. But a person who is spontaneously attached to the Lord and Guru and Krishna, they are backed up by the Supreme Lord so that easily they are brought back into Krishna consciousness. Even if they little deviate, the Lord will immediately bring them back. So, therefore, the path of devotional service is the only right path. If one is on the right path, even an occasional occurrence of worldliness does not hamper one in the advancement of self-realization. Okay. Go ahead.
The facilities of devotional service are denied the impersonalist because they are attached to the Brahma Jyoti feature of the Lord. As suggested in the previous mantras, they cannot penetrate the Brahma Jyoti because they do not believe in the personality of Godhead. Their business is mostly word jugglery and material speculation. Consequently, the impersonalists pursue the fruitless labor as confirmed in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita 12.5. All facilities suggested in this mantra can be easily obtained by constant contact with the personal feature of the Absolute Truth. Devotional service of the Lord consists essentially of nine transcendental activities: hearing about the Lord, glorifying the Lord, remembering the Lord, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping the Lord, offering prayers to the Lord, serving the Lord, enjoying friendly association with the Lord, and surrendering everything unto the Lord. These nine principles of devotional service, taken all together or one by one, help a devotee remain constantly in touch with God. This way, at the end of life, it is easy for the devotee to remember the Lord. By adopting only one of these nine principles, the following renowned devotees of the Lord were able to achieve the highest perfection. 1. By hearing of the Lord, Maharaja Parikshit, the hero of Srimad Bhagavatam, attained the desired result. Just by glorifying the Lord, Sukadeva Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, attained his perfection. 3. By praying to the Lord, Akrura attained the desired result. 4. By remembering the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj attained the desired result. 5. By worshipping the Lord, Prithu Maharaj attained perfection. 6. By serving the lotus feet of the Lord, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, attained perfection. 7. By rendering personal service to the Lord, Hanuman attained desired results. 8. Through the friendship with the Lord, Arjuna attained the desired result. 9. By surrendering everything he had to the Lord, Maharaja Bali attained the desired result. Actually, the explanation of this mantra and for practically all mantras of Vedic hymns is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra and properly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of the Vedic tree of wisdom. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular mantra is explained in the questions and answers between Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami at the very beginning of their meeting. Hearing and chanting of the signs of God is the basic principle of devotional life. The complete Bhagavatam was heard by Maharaj Parikshit and chanted by Sukadeva Goswami. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Sukadeva because Sukadeva was a greatest spiritual master than any great yogi or transcendentalist of his time. Maharaj Parikshit's main question was, what is the duty of every man, especially at the time of death? Sukadeva Goswami answered, Tasma, ev- everyone who desires to be free from all anxieties should always hear about, glorify, and remember the personality of Godhead, who is the supreme director of everything, the extinguisher of all difficulties and supersoul of all living entities. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.1.5. So called human society is generally engaged at night in sleeping and having sex, and during the daytime in earning as much money as possible, or else in shopping for family maintenance. People have very little time to talk about the personality of Godhead or to inquire about him. They have dismissed God's existence in so many ways, but primarily by declaring him to be impersonal, that is, without sense perception. But in Vedic literature, whether the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, or Srimad Bhagavatam, it is declared that the Lord is a sentient being and is supreme over all other living entities. His glorious activities are identical with himself. One should, therefore, not indulge in hearing and speaking of the rubbish activities of worldly politicians and so called big men in the society, but should mold his life in such a way that he can engage in godly activities without wasting a second. Sri Isopanisad direct us towards such godly activities. Unless one is accustomed to devotional practice, what will he remember at the time of death when the body is dislocated, and how can he pray to the Almighty Lord to remember his sacrifices? Sacrifice means denying the interest of the senses. One has to learn this art by employing the senses in the service of the Lord during one's lifetime. One can utilize the results of such practice at the time of death.
Thank you, Haribol. So maybe 2-3 minutes I'll take to wind up. So very beautifully it is mentioned, Prabhupada is concluding, but before that we will refer how this can be done. Now the question is, at the time of my death, my dear Lord, please remember my sacrifices. This is the word which is used here. So what is sacrifice? Sacrifice means denying the interest of the senses. Now, if I deny my interest of the senses, how will I eat? How will I? Naturally, the senses are require fulfillment when we come here. So that the ears want to hear nice music. These are all additional, of course. But the same thing is employed in Krishna consciousness: Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. 9 processes of devotional service mentioned by Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam is quoted earlier. And each of the Shravanam means hearing about Krishna. It can be hearing about Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Isopanisad, we are in the class, we are hearing. And also hearing Krishna Katha, Kirtan. All this comes under the Sravanam. Kirtanam is where we talk about the Supreme Lord. We chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So the tongue ear is used in the service of Krishna. The tongue is used. Primarily, the tongue is used for 2 things. One is for eating, another is to produce sound. So we use the tongue to produce sound, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in this way. And the other, hearing, we use the ears. Tongue we use for eating prasadam. The legs we use for the walking to the temple. In this way, the senses, we are not using it for gratifying the own senses, but rather we use it in the service of the Lord. In this way, employing the senses in the service of the Lord, actually it's an art. It's an art of living in this world. We will be like any other worldly person, but we will be employing our senses in the service of the Lord. So certainly this will be remembered at the time of death. Okay. Earlier this portion, I'm going to give you an exercise and that will be posted in the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much. Any questions, comments, kindly post it in either in the group or in a private message. Ask me question. I can answer. Whatever possible. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you the team for putting that skit up that day. I told and they prepared the same weekend. I'm really sorry that 1 or 2 weekends ended and somehow we made it. Thank you very much. Okay. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय।